Welcome everybody to another A Link to the Past randomizer main tournament race. This is going to be a match between Nightcl4w and Ralen Tankir. I'm here with my co-com. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Nervendolch, and on our side is our Darok. Hopefully tracking everything correctly and remind us about everything we forget.
Very good. And I'm Sailor Nep, and we're going to be having a standard boots race, it looks like, today. To talk a little bit about standard boots, essentially it is standard mode, except you start with the boots. It is different from the more commonly played casual boots mode that happens outside the main tournament, in that you are not guaranteed a sword start, but rather one of the uncle weapons from the usual standard set will be appearing. It could be a sword, but probably not.
Yeah, hopefully 10 bombs.
Indeed, that's always an exciting one to see.
Yeah, especially when you still need bombs anyway.
Exactly. It's a little less important since they can just bump the back of escape open, but you still want them in here in the game, so it's all good.
Yeah, another really good start weapon, at least for me, is Burner. Because you really have to pinpoint your magic.
Yeah, that one's nice. You don't have to worry about missing the key rat. All you gotta do is get near it.
Yeah, and then press a button.
For me, I'm a fan of the fire rod.
Oh, early fire is always nice. Really interesting could be a bow as well. So early Isam play instead of Kageriko. But here
Alright,
we go.
both runners off and getting just 50 rupees from the Link's House chest, but not a bad start at all.
And
Get a
we've
quick
got,
map check.
yeah, 3 blue crystals.
Yeah.
I like it.
That could very much lead to some tough Dark World decisions later if there are going to be all 3 pennants there.
Oh, a sword.
How about that? So, it's going to be very much like casual boots from here.
Yeah, so much funny stuff, and we get vanilla.
Both runners showing off really good movement tech. You can just see that their positions and their timing for things are just on point.
Yeah, but
Ralen here,
yeah,
getting bopped by the guard, but can't help that.
Yeah, this is Rendo. You can't do anything about it.
I'm kind of wondering if we'll see any exciting items popping up here in the escape section, or if we're going to be waiting a while. Well, that's a little longer with that piece of heart. Moving up here into the ball and chain guard room, we're going to be seeing how well the runners can handle the NMG ball and chain guard style. Nightcl4w going for the pot strats.
Yeah, it's
totally understandable.
It's safe. If you're good with a sword, you're a little bit faster, but if you just make one mistake, you can die.
Exactly. I kind of thought it was cool what Ralen did there, going for the half and half of throwing one pot for 4 tempered damage and then 4 slashes.
So with one bottle in our hands, Kageriko is really interesting, even if we get a bow. As
Yeah,
I would go for Kakariko.
I agree. I don't think we'll see either runners go for the Kakariko delay here without a good reason. I like their sprite choices, by the way. That Eevee sprite is very good in particular.
Yeah, and Ralen always using Samus. And we all know Samus. One hero in another game, today here in A Link to the Past. Oh, Cape! Who's calling Moonpool on Pyramid?
That cape definitely does have some potential interesting implications. In that case, I would expect to see neither runner delay checking the lumberjack tree after escape.
Yeah, with Cape, there's a good chance that we just get a lamb.
Tankir having a little bit of difficulty with the rat RNG, but still keeping a tight pace.
Yeah, but you can't do anything about RNG. Or you can hope that your opponent having some problems as well. Even not at the red, but maybe later another enemy.
So we are seeing a save and quit from Nightcl4w here, so I'm wondering where he's gonna go.
Oh, that's hard to say. Eastern area.
Interesting. Purchasing bombs. Okay. Perhaps.
Yeah, if he's purchasing bombs, maybe going South Shore.
Meanwhile, Ralen Tankir pulling a red rupee out of Bonk Rocks, following the more standard meta path here.
And the bee in the bottle is a golden bee, so really good for him.
So, in my opinion, this is exciting. I wouldn't have guessed it, but we're seeing early Divergence already.
I mean, we like Divergence.
Indeed. So,
Early
Bombos
Bombos.
Medallion. Okay.
That's nice.
No immediate implications for that, but nice to have.
Yeah, Bombos is your friend. And Ralen has to be careful. He's now a one-hit wonder.
Fortunately, the boots just send you sailing past the guard, and he has safely reached the village. So we'll be getting a lot of checks very quickly from both runners here. Between Mini Moldorm Cave and the 5 downstairs. Showing off a bit on Nightcl4w's side with the bomb strats. Very cool.
And both finding a sword upgrade. Really interesting. Okay, now we know both runners will get butter in about some minutes.
Yeah, all 4 swords showing up in very early areas. No one's gonna miss those. So, with all 4 swords and cape showing up, I now feel that I would be very surprised if this was not an Agaseed, but once again, you can never be sure, so we'll just have to wait and see.
It will just be an Agaseed if we get early lamp.
Oh, well, there we go. Hookshot. That's one that's gonna open up some stuff. Not immediately, but pretty quickly once we get some more progression.
Bugnet. So Ralen got some new safeties.
And I like that call to sell the bee. It's not going to have great other uses, and that way Ralen Tankir is going to be more or less set on money for most of the run.
Yeah, so he's got Zora money as well as Kiki money.
Meanwhile, Nightcl4w has set up a water walk and is heading to the waterfall. Does not have Zora money, so isn't going to be able to do that check, but is going to be able to scope out the ledge and possibly find a reason to come back.
And Ralen got his Moon Pearl from Sickit.
Now, that was a special 20 rupees with green, which means that would have been the boots up on the Zora ledge. So I'm sure that both runners will, upon seeing that, feel a little bit of relief that they got to have them for free. Oh, and Kane Samaria in the library.
So the early 10 minutes really loaded in stuff we need.
Yeah, this is interesting though, because they found a number of items that are going to be useful eventually, but not really any immediate progression.
Oh, a bow for Ralen Tankir.
Well, how about that? There we go, that's something.
Yeah, but this could put him far away from hookshot.
That's true. I do expect that we won't see South Shore delayed too long, but it depends. Finding, say, maybe going over and clearing Eastern and getting something like 2 gloves and a Moon Pearl, that could possibly be dicey.
Yeah, the problem is Ralen already has Moon Pearl from Sickit.
Oh, you're right. I missed that. Thanks for catching that.
And there's a good chance that even if Ralen is going for South Shore, with a bow he might think about skipping Iceward Cave.
That's always possible. I guess we'll find out shortly, though. So now both runners are going to be presumably going back over the checks that they've each individually done, so... It's just a matter of brief suspense of whether or not Ralen Tankir goes over to Hookshot Cave. Or, not Hookshot Cave, Ice Rod Cave. It's the cave with the hookshot in it.
Yeah, now Nightcl4w knows. Oh, his opponent will definitely have Butter Sword, and Ralen is going to know this information as well.
Now, there is one potential advantage. If Ralen Tankir also goes for the water walk, he's going to have an opportunity to get the Zora pull done. And if that has some kind of progression, it could be a while before Nightcl4w gets it. And if not, then Nightcl4w gets to save $500, at least for a while.
Yeah, on the other hand, Ralen got so much money. 500 rupee on Zora is nothing for him.
Indeed.
But now, with Butter Sword, Ralen can just run across. Those jellies won't hurt him.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's a little fun fact.
You know, I might be showing my lack of knowledge here outside of the game, but I want to say I have always heard that gold is not a very good conductor of electricity. So... if that is true, then it makes sense, but if not, then I have some questions.
Well, story-wise, it's a sword from the fairy, so you can say it is magic. that prevents you from getting hurt.
That's true. We can just accept that it's magic. Gold is a great conductor. Well, see, there we go. I'm not a physicist. I'm just a rando player.
Hobo is that much rich, but has just a tent? Interesting.
Nightcl4w scoping out that bow, gonna be grabbing it. So, I think just due to the additional time spent at the Zora pool, Nightcl4w's probably gonna be the first, heading over to the eastern area. This is interesting though, they have so many items, but we're still just barred off on progression.
Yeah, and so far, probably in desert or eastern. With our logical progression. And this would be interesting. If Ralen is finding something we need, then he knows he has to find a glove or flippers really early. A lamp!
Oh, that's interesting. So that puts Aggo sort of on the table, but that's not in logic yet.
Yeah, but the chances on getting just flippers is pretty high.
Okay, and so Nightcl4w chooses to ask Sahasrahla about the green pendant information, which is Thieves Town today.
That's a quite friendly green pendant dungeon. If you want to do it, it's really, really easy. And if you do not want to do it, it's okay. Because it's taking a lot of time.
So if it is necessary to clear Castle Tower here, this would actually be a potential small advantage for Ralen Tankir, since Nightcl4w doesn't have the lamp yet, and we'll probably go get it before making that call.
Yeah, and even if it's not required, then a lamp, especially when you have to do a dungeon like Missouri Maya, lamp advantage gives you time back.
Indeed. In fact, even something like Eastern Palace, which both runners are going into, you're going to see Nightcl4w, I'm sure, do a great job with these dark rooms coming up. But even then, it's just always faster to have the lamp if you already have it.
Indeed.
So, Ralen Tankir will get back a little bit of time, but I imagine that Nightcl4w will probably still stay ahead for the moment.
Yeah, but the lamp advantage will give him some seconds advantage overall, no matter what.
Indeed. Especially because there are other possibilities. For example, if Book shows up, then that makes Desert full clearable for Ralen Tankir, whereas Nightcl4w would not be able to reach Landmolus.
Yeah, or we have to go to the mountain, go into Tower of Hera, and have to go for the Hera basement.
Yeah, which that could actually go the other way. If Hera basement is nothing, and Nightcl4w is forced to skip it, then that could swing things back the other way. So there are lots of interesting little things that could be going on here.
Oh, there's our flippers for our lamp. Yeah, so logically, we have to go out, swim to Zora, get our lamp, and come back.
And yeah, it's been pointed out in chat that even with mountain access, we wouldn't quite be able to reach Hera yet. We would need a mirror or the hammer, but there's still a lot of checks that mountain access would open up. And But right now, it's looking like we might just be getting funneled to Aga with those flippers.
So if we get something that gives some new progression, Nightcl4w knows that a fire source has to be on Zora. Of course, without, it's not in logic being here. So his end is 50-50 chance went good for him. Oh no, shovel!
So we get a little bit of a mystery for the moment. Nightcl4w did a great job with that quick kill, and in fact, getting through the dungeon in general. We talked about the speed differences in the lamp, but Nightcl4w kept them as slight as possible, just so fast the whole time.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing, and there's not much you can do. So, will Nightcl4w go for his lamp? No, first digging up something new for us.
I think that makes sense. Nightcl4w probably has every reason to suspect that only the lamp is missing, and so maybe wants to just keep ahead of it, if possible.
So digging spot, just a piece of heart.
Yeah, Ralen and Tankir getting the dungeon done very quickly as well. Being a little more thorough, pulling the big key chest.
Yeah, he was going to be sure getting all items.
Yeah, but in terms of execution, they're pretty much keeping pace with each other. It's really just very exciting.
So Ralen could go for desert, maybe getting a flute for new checks or a glove, or just saying, you know what, I've got all the equipment, I go for Aga. Right after doing the shovel.
I agree with the shovel play here, especially, you know, you're going to check it eventually, I'm sure, so. No time like the present. I would say, from Ralen Tankir's perspective, I would expect to see him consider just rushing Aga with just one check left. It's a pretty safe bet.
The chances on getting something really good are pretty low. And on the other hand, with Aga you get Pyramid and a pot. Even without a boss, you've got a lot of items in there.
Yep, and with the flippers and the hookshot, you can even loop around to the rest of the Dark World, get so many checks done, so... What's Agina compared to all of that, right?
Yeah, the chances on Agina being something heavy is really low.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Ralen Tankir's call here. And I expect Nightcl4w to follow suit after getting this lamp.
Yeah, especially when you know the lamp was required anyway.
Okay, and sure enough, we have Nightcl4w now going into the castle tower climb, and so they're both just going to be pure execution for a little while.
So, what do you think? Do we see a friendly Aga or a 15 blue ball nightmare?
I think it'll probably just be like 2 or so. Very average. Just making such short work of all these guards, normally in the vanilla game would be a little bit tough. But with the gold sword, they're just nothing. Gotta be a little careful getting chased down by that guard, but making it through.
Yeah, with the Butter Sword, they're all one hit, so you're happy. But you know which guards I hate? These two won. They
I feel like...
yeah, they will punish you for every mistake you do.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel, especially when you're playing the game through for the first time, at some point you just get knocked down by them, and it's just a miserable room.
Yeah, by the way, when you fall down, there's a chance that they poke you while you're down and you get more than just one hit. Just from the guards, so it's basically 2 hearts you lose.
Those guards had the right idea. We're gonna guard the room that's full of pits. Alright, so they'll be doing the Aga fight. This is seeded, so both runners will get the same blue ball count, which so far, if I have been paying attention correctly, is at 2.
Yeah, right now it's 2, and I have to say, Nightcl4w really, really good catching up.
Yep, up to this point, Ralen Tankir, he is ahead by about an Aga cycle and a half. Cycle referring to the full set, including the lightning shot, of course. In other words, very close race. It's exciting. Now it'll be interesting to see what each runner individually chooses. Do you dive Palace of Darkness here? We're gonna get a map check, I bet, too. Alright, so the other 2 pendants are Swamp and Ice, and we also have 5-6 crystals on Pod and Misery Mire.
So is being Pod a red crystal? I can't blame anyone going for Dark World instead of Pod. If it's just a pendant, just go for it. No matter what, it's okay.
Yeah,
but
and I do agree with this choice by Ralen Tankir.
Yeah, Darkwood is quite better right now.
Indeed. There are some potential downsides to either play, but this looks to me to be the favorable one.
Yeah, and this is why I hate hookshot speed on certain spaces. You are too fast and rush into the water.
Now, Nightcl4w is going to make the same choice, I think. No, we're seeing Divergence. This is the pod play, so this is more exciting opportunities for things to swing one way.
I mean, I really love when runners get a vanilla hammer, but this would be tough. At least for Ralen, of course, you never look for vanilla stuff.
Yeah, there are a lot of interesting possibilities for items that could be in Palace of Darkness that would give Nightcl4w an advantage. Hammer's an obvious one, but there could also be something like Mirror that leads to possible opportunities to get things on the way to the other side of the Dark World that might be harder for Ralen Tankir to route in later. Really depends. Alright, Ralen Tankir, meanwhile, is in Skull Woods. Gonna get the front checks with no fire rod, not going to be seeing the back.
Yeah, unless we get it here.
Indeed. And in fact, that's another item that could potentially be interesting for Nightcl4w. Fire rod's in the back. Potentially double dip pod, but in exchange maybe get a single dip or even a more efficient dip of Skull Woods depending on the item layout. Alright, so we have a heart container in the pinball room, as it's affectionately known.
And now I could understand when Ralen is saying, I go back. No, he's going deeper, huh? Chance of being an item is pretty low.
Yeah, with Samaria though, this is a relatively quick check, so I agree with this play. Just commit, make sure you don't have it go too wrong. But in this case, just a compass, so we'll probably see heading on to the Village of Outcasts area, then another decision point coming up of whether to clear Thieves Town or not. Seeing a comment in chat of, can we just start the game in pod? I feel like that would be an interesting inverted variant.
Yeah, if not inverted, you still can choose on entrance modes.
So I just want to comment real quick. That play by Nightcl4w just now, taking 5 hits and then moving over to Death Warp while saving a screen transition. That was a good call, but unfortunately having a fairy, that always feels bad when that happens.
Yeah. And Ralen, thank you for mushroom. So all we want to see right now is a hammer for Ralen. Or for Nightcl4w right now, so we can see which plays better.
Indeed, so far we still don't know which is right for progression. And we might still not know. If Ralen Tankir chooses to leave here and progression's in the back, then we could be waiting for a while.
Yeah, and he's going for the Green Pendant. Oh no, just
Death Warp, and probably also still has that fairy.
Yep.
Unfortunate. When the game gives you 4 bottles so quickly, it's very hard to remember what's in them.
Oh, Ralen got another one and just let it go. So it's interesting. But to be fair, he got the small key already in the front. It's bad to say you probably will lose one item just cause you do not have a hammer.
Exactly. It would be the worst feeling if you go in, you clear the back, you don't get anything, and then you actually need the hammer for something in the big chest later.
And so far, Pot got nothing.
So, knowing that the pod dive didn't lead to anything, that could potentially make Nightcl4w want to make a different choice with regards to Thieves Town, but we'll see.
Yeah, right now we know there has to be something here on the overworld, or really be in Season.
Oh, well, there we go. We finally have a glove that's mountain access, so we're finally getting some momentum in the right direction.
Yeah. So we've got mountain access with right side mountain and old man. That's nice. A blue mail for Ralen Tankir. And the red mail as well.
Alright, so Nightcl4w having 3 items but no progression.
Well, at least it's the armory.
So I guess some people like to rate their hype caves. I guess your rating will depend on how much you like fashion.
Obviously 9 out of 10. So Ralen is going for blind. One single rupee. Yay, now he's rich.
Well, this was the money seed early, so eventually I guess you have to go for the smaller denominations. So I'm kind of thinking about what could possibly be on the mountain here. There's plenty of possibilities.
So we could get mids, maybe a mirror, hammer, a book, just a fireword for Skywoods.
Indeed, I'm thinking personally Mitz is pretty likely. Mirror would open up something like one check in each of few spots that aren't too comfortable to reach, as well as Tower of Hera. But I would hate to see a situation where the runners have to run all the way around to, say, the beginning of Swamp again. Hammer would also not open up a lot immediately, but would start getting the ball rolling, so to speak.
Yeah, but to be fair, if the runners have to go for first chest in Swamp, I always want to see their faces.
Ralen Tankir running out of bombs, but fortunately doesn't need any more in the immediate future, so that's not such a bad thing.
Yeah, and there's a good chance that he's getting you right now.
Now this is a moment I've been waiting for over on Nightclaw's side, to see if Nightcl4w follows suit in just leaving or decides to clear this dungeon.
Yeah, he's got a bigger chance to go deeper, because he already was in pot and there was nothing.
Well, there we go. We have Mid-Soap in Paradox Cave for Ralen Tankir.
Yes,
So
so we've got Super Bunny Cave and Hookshot Cave.
Indeed. That also opens up everyone's favorite mirrorless smith chain. I say that with a little bit of sarcasm. I don't like doing it without mirror.
Well, on the viewer perspective, I like it. But as runner, no. Please, no. That's evil.
Hey, Nightcl4w is bang. So this could potentially be very big.
But he has to be really careful. 2 hearts and Grimace is not healthy at all.
Yeah, fortunately, managed to get the hooking that hard under the pot got a double, so can afford no more extra hits from things that do 2 damage, but things that do 1 damage, like spikes, fireballs, anti-fairies. That'll provide just a little bit of extra comfort. That said, with the cape, the gold sword, it's not too scary. The worst is behind Nightcl4w, I would say.
Yeah, and even for blind, he's got cape if everything goes wrong.
Meanwhile, we've got a bunch of checks coming up here in Hookshot Cave.
Oh no, that's bad. For both of them.
Yeah, there's the remaining one item in Skull Woods that opens up, and that also opens up the Ice Palace Hammerless play. Pendant Ice Palace Hammerless play. That's not too comfortable. And our TR medallion is Bombos.
So, where's Ralen going? It looks like Skywoods.
By the way, you'll notice that Nightcl4w had to take the long way around. That's because Nightcl4w hasn't found the glove yet and wouldn't be able to pick up that large block. Oh my goodness, the mirror.
That's huge.
That could be good or bad since Swamp... Yeah, Swamp's a pendant, so...
Yeah, but
if there's something required there, then that's great for Nightcl4w. But if not, that could potentially long-term lead Nightcl4w to sink more time feeling committed to finding it.
yeah, on the other hand, if he's on the mountain, he can just go for Hera.
Yeah, that is Hera access, so if there's something big in Hera, like Hammer in particular, this would be a huge advantage for Nightcl4w. I'm seeing someone in chat say mirrorless Smith chain with mirror. That would be very funny. That would be the kind of thing I'd do if I was bored.
But here we go. Dream pendant for Nightcl4w.
This will be interesting. As Nightcl4w heads south, we'll get to see some extra checks that Ralen Tankir couldn't do, namely Cave 45. There's also the possibility, I don't know that Nightcl4w will do it, but could go into Swamp for just one check. Can't clear due to lack of hammer, though.
To be fair, he got so much stuff. I can't see him going for Swamp for one chest. He wants to find more.
No, given that Nightcl4w is going to find the glove that's going to open up the whole mountain, including Hera, I can't imagine making that swamp call.
Yeah, he's got so much more stuff to do.
Indeed.
But if Ralen is not finding anything here, there's a potential that he's going back for Thieves Town or going for Ice Palace. And then there's a better chance for him. Of course, a big key.
That was such a nice and fast moth fight, by the way.
Yeah, Mosula was really friendly to him.
The right RNG and applying all that practiced skill very well.
Okay. In Skywoods, we just got a piece of heart.
Interestingly enough, it seems that Ralen Tankir is going to head back through, so seems to have more business in this immediate area.
Yeah, probably want to go to Thieves Town. Maybe just going take the frog.
Meanwhile, Nightcl4w getting the fashion wardrobe and the boomerang. I like that setup, running over here to go turn in the green pendant. That's very good. And Ralen Tankir indeed heading back and going to get the smith.
Well, it's okay to say I go this way, being sure, picking up whatever he gives, then go for Thieves Town, probably, and from there pick up your purple chest. He doesn't know that he's getting a mirror in Thieves Town if he goes for it.
Yeah, I think at this point it's a little hard to want to go back into Thieves Town, just because even though it's there, you've gone and found 2 gloves worth of progression so far. So it's kind of tempting to just want to think, well, maybe the mids are the next part of the story the seed is trying to tell me.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you really do not want to go Pen and Ice Palace without a hammer.
Yeah. I suppose the one upside is that if you don't find the hammer within Pen and Ice Palace, you don't necessarily have to go back. It's a little less risky than if it was a crystal. Alright, so round Tankir is going to be getting that mirror after all. So, good call.
Yeah. I'm sure with mirror in his hands, there's a big chance that he's going back to the mountain.
Yeah, meanwhile, it seems like Nightcl4w is going to be showing us Hera finally soon. So, we might be learning just how valuable that mirror is in the near future.
I hope it's a fortune.
I like the backup strat with the cape there. That's useful not only to avoid the enemies, but additionally, since you have to be pixel perfect to dash that usually, if you're on the cape and you're off by a little bit, you'll just nudge in since you don't take damage from the spikes in that case. Interestingly enough, it doesn't work with the Cane of Burna because even though you don't take damage, you still get bumped.
And here we go, Hera pot.
You always see all sorts of different setups there, and I like that one in particular, even though I haven't learned it myself.
Yeah, it's one of the easiest one I've ever seen. Even I can do it. Oh, Smokey is not good at all.
Alright, and so round Tankir will be finishing this dungeon, so each of them has some little points of advantage on each other. Nightcl4w is going to have Hera finished, round Tankir already has Skullwoods done, as well as the additional mountain checks, so it's hard to tell exactly who has the biggest advantage right now.
Yeah, and it's even depending on if Nightcl4w is going for Hera basement right now.
And it looks like that's going to be a yes.
Interesting, but I like it. He's going to get a coffee break.
I think this makes a lot of sense from Nightcl4w's perspective, even though there's the rest of the mountain. The mids haven't shown up yet, and you are running out of spots. And without the hammer, it's going to be awkward to come back here if you go over to the right side of the mountain and don't find anything.
Yeah, it's taking a lot of time just for basement, but going back for the basement on the long way, it takes much more time.
Indeed. And so round Tankir is going to be grabbing the purple chest here. So we'll be seeing yet another new check.
And he's deciding not to do out of logic magic bed.
So I agree with that, because if you have the
Oh,
hammer, it's one thing, but you'd have to run all the way up to the portal. And
have you
wow, that
seen?
was the flute and hair basement.
Oh yeah,
That is
that's
necessary, so very good call that Nightcl4w stayed.
so we need that mirror. Unless there's a hammer on Agina.
Yeah, the hammer could still be within reach, but if not, then that mirror is going to be required. I'm seeing in chat asking about the two gloves. Paradox Cave had one glove, and Stumpy in the Dark World Overworld had the first glove.
So Ralen Tankir is showing us if we really need our mirror.
I would expect a Ganon to be nothing here, by the way. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's okay. Oh no. Just a little bit of junk.
Burna is a unique item, but doesn't do anything for us right now, especially since we've had the cape since before that.
Yeah, you just want to have one of them. And we both knew that Burner is making lots of lags.
So this will be a very important point in this run here, is we need to see Ralen Tankir not choose to skip Hair Basement, which, given how few checks are left, I would assume that is not going to happen.
Yeah, there's no word where I can see him skipping right now.
Now, it is worth noting that Ralen Tankir, if I'm not mistaken, has not been to Palace of Darkness yet, but I feel like you wouldn't want that to be your backup plan.
Yeah, especially when you say you do not go for port right now. You wait for a hammer.
So Nightcl4w will be getting the Fire Rod out of Hookshot Cave, and then probably going to activate the Flute, as well as... Well, actually, there's another option here for Nightcl4w, but I don't expect him to take it. Could go into Turtle Rock here. With no Ice Rod, though, I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, wait, no Hammer. What am I talking about? That's not going to happen. That's impossible.
There's a chance that...
Don't mind me.
If Nightcl4w is going to get to Mizumaya, that he's finding the hammer in the area. So maybe later. But even then, with a hammer, you want to do all the other dungeons before going to Turtle Rock. Especially when you already did Tower of Hera, so you just have to go back only once. Instead of Heartful twice.
Okay, very good. Ralen Tankir is going to be getting that flute, so I'm not surprised, but that's a relief for anyone rooting for Ralen Tankir. Meanwhile, Nightcl4w going to be activating the flute, so with this tile room and the flute activation, both runners will be kind of just doing nothing at the same time for a while.
So right now, both can go for Desert, probably go into Misery Mire, unless we need Ether. But it's totally understandable for Nightcl4w. Just go for Skywoods right now, so there's one crystal done. He knows there's still one item for him.
Yeah, I would say that this is still more or less anyone's race at this point, too. There's still a couple items to be found, but additionally, in terms of covered ground, they're in pretty similar positions. Nightcl4w hasn't done the Back of Skull Woods here, but that's going to be coming up. Ralen Tankir hasn't been through pod to get the big key, so we'll have to do that at some point.
Yeah.
But more or less, they've covered a lot of the same ground otherwise.
Yes, but both are check-wise pretty close, yes. But if Ralen is able to skip most parts in pod and just looking for a big key, he might get a time advantage. Depending on when he's going there.
Yeah, there's still so much up in the air here. I mean, both runners have just continued to just basically just play great the whole time. It's been very entertaining to watch.
And we need Quake for Misery Mire. Glad we've got it. And so much more money.
So, with no medallions to hunt for, that means we're just looking for Hammer and Ice Rod at this point. I think that if the hammer isn't anywhere that requires going off the path, if it's just here in Mire or in Desert, for instance, then both runners are going to be fairly close to each other, and then it just becomes a matter of where the Ice Rod is.
Yeah, and
but if the hammer is off the path, that could still lead to some interesting calls. There's not a lot of potential left as to where those spots could be, but it would just come down to who chooses it first.
yeah, but I think it's curious for Ralen going for Mire first, because it's a longer dungeon, and there is a chance that Desert got the answers, and you're looking for maybe cutscene chest.
Yeah, I can see that. Though I think in general it's alright here, since the hammer opens up quite a lot. It's not too likely that, for instance, the Desert will have both Ice Rod and Hammer, so it's not too big a risk. I'm seeing asked in chat, it is possible for Magic Bat to have Hammer.
Yeah,
they would need powder to get it, but...
Yeah. But there's a chance. When we get a powder, it can have. We've got the mirror, we've got all the ways. Just going for it. But the chances right now are not that big at all.
Alright, so we are going to see cutscene chest here. Meanwhile, Nightcl4w heading into the back of Desert, going to be showing us the Land Multis fight. With Fire Rod in hand, that should be a fairly quick fight. Between Flute, Hair, Tile Room, and this, it feels like we're seeing all the cutscenes today. Oh my
Ice
goodness.
Sword.
So this is Hammer Go mode now for Ralen Tankir.
To be fair, it's the best go mode he can get.
Indeed, that's going to just remove any worry. There's no temptation to dive Pendant Ice unless it has the hammer. Pendant Swamp is a non-starter entirely.
Yeah, unless
Except for
there's
that
the hammer.
one chance.
But if there's the hammer, yeah, you can call me a witch.
So Hammer not being a desert. Oh, well, there we go. That's
So
58-minute go mode for Ralen Tankir. Both Hammer and Ice Rod were in the same dungeon, just not desert. So I guess I'm the fool here. So in that case, we'll have quite the race on our hands as long as Nightcl4w full clears Mire.
yeah, but right now, Ralen is obviously on the advantage with not having to go all the way through desert. Still looking for something. Unless Nightcl4w is finding silvers right now.
Yeah, even then, I think silvers would be just about a wash with the time being invested to do these extra checks right now.
Yeah, but we can't underestimate silvers. It's witty still there. Silvers is a little bit faster than butter. And silver's Ganon is a little bit faster than butter's Ganon. Not much,
Very
but
much
still
the
enough.
truth. But with no silvers here, that goes into the what if pile.
Now we can just hope for Nightcl4w that he is going for cutscene chest. And there's a chance that he's finding hammer before Ice Sword. Really nice quick kill on Witty for Ralen.
Yeah, that was a very good fight. That's the kind of vitreous fight you want to have. So that Ralen Tankir will be doing Desert next. That will be the 5th crystal, and then it will just be time to clear out Pod and then head up the mountain for Total Rock and GT.
Yeah. And Pod will be pretty fast for him, with being big here on the middle room, right after the drop down.
Indeed, so those kinds of things are going to save a bit of time and just continue to allow him to pad his lead here. That said, you never know. Nightcl4w has just been executing extremely well, and there are definitely ways that things could put him back in fighting shape.
Yeah, even if Ralen is on an advantage right now, there's still a potential death on his side or a worse GT routing on the later point that both can come pretty much closer.
Indeed.
Even if an unlucky death is pretty unlikely. With more than 10 hearts, blue goose, and red mail.
Ralen
But we never know.
Tankir, not being willing to give up any time, though. You just see that nice clean fire rod dash. That positioning was perfect.
Yeah, but Lanmola twirling.
Momola said no. No one cycle for you today. I'll be rooting for Ralen Tankir to get the 1 cycle in the rematch in GT.
Yeah, even then, Lanmuller can say, nope.
Meanwhile, Nightcl4w is going to be getting the Ice Rod, so we do still have a race on our hands. Very good.
If he was just going for the hammer first, then there was a chance that he's skipping Ice Rod and then it's over for Nightcl4w. With hammer opening so much stuff.
There were actually just numerous points where either runner could have made a decision that could have put them far behind, namely the Hera Basement and minor cutscene chest calls, but nobody's fallen for that today.
Yeah, and we both know both are really strong runners, really close together. It's just depending on luck who's gonna be first on some points.
Yeah, both runners have played this exceptionally well and routed well. It just came down to happenstance things like the progression being a mire, Ralen Tankir doing a mire first over desert, that sort of stuff. Not stuff that you could possibly prepare for.
Yeah. And with the next chest. Okay, Reinhard here is playing really safe. So it's the second chest, not the first one. He's in go mode for this dungeon. Won't open any other chest. And yeah, but no, wait, he's still looking for a Smoky right now.
That's right. But he also knows that they're just going to be here on the Bowlock side. There's nowhere else to go, so we'll just be getting that done. So at this point, Nightcl4w will also be having a nice, fast, vigorous fight, I expect. So at that point, Nightcl4w is probably down basically the crystal cutscene, some travel time, and then a couple rooms in pod. Yeah, I would say it comes out to well less than 2 minutes. So we are still in a position where GT routing and maybe just little execution differences one way or the other could swing it.
Yeah, even just random stuff can lead Nightcl4w a little bit closer. Just one guard just mocking Ralen Tankir right off the cliff, and Nightcl4w is getting some seconds. Oh, I like that one.
It seems that there are a number of runners who like to open that fight with 2 bombs, and I think that's a cool strat. I don't personally do it because I know me, I just miss.
Yeah, and there's a chance that Hammersaw is trolling you and then only one bomb is hitting.
And now that they're both in the same dungeon, we actually do have a very clear picture of the difference in time between them.
Yeah, Nightcl4w opening the cutscene while Tankir is going out.
So let's see, floating away at 108.15 roughly at bird catch. So if we just keep that in mind, we'll know exactly how much the time difference is.
So now it could be really interesting depending on where the Turtle Rock big key is. And there's a small chance that when we get an early big key, that Ralen Tankir might skip the big chest with a small chance of the one required small key.
Yeah, I just refer to that as the bad layout, where you have the vanilla big key chest having a small key, and the big chest having a big key, and if you're in go mode, then you're probably going to miss that, but it's very rare.
Yeah, but I've already seen some seeds lost cause you skipped the big chest. But yeah, the odds are pretty low. But here we go, Turtle Rock.
There's a really nice menu to hookshot, and just catching that input perfectly is very good.
Yeah, and there's just a really small time window where you can do it.
Yeah, that's tough.
And I like the decision from Nightcl4w. He knew he got not much arrows left, and instead of depending for luck, new arrows, he's just buying new one. So he will be fine. Oh, here's our Isa.
Just a heart container, huh?
Hey, it was not just a heart container. It was a sand card. It's unique. It's special. And it's healing Ralen Tankir right in the spot.
That's true. If you're gonna get healed by the Saint card, that's, in general, a pretty good spot for it right in Change Shop Room. Now, with Red Mail and 13 Hearts, there wasn't really much danger here, but not bad in general.
Yeah, Nightcl4w got bad luck, was not on the spot for bomb wars and has to do it again. Really unfortunate for him. A vanilla big key.
So with that, there's no more choices to make in this dungeon. We'll just be blasting through at the normal pace. Well,
Yeah,
I say there's no more choices. Somebody could choose to skip the big chest. That would just be not a very, not a play I would ever advise.
Yeah. It's risky, but maybe the right choice.
Nightcl4w doing the other strat, just quick slopping to the hook shot after using the fire rod, and then waiting for the chance to pull that. But right now, Tankir is ahead by about half a turtle rock.
Yeah, it's enough time depending on where the GT big key is for Nightcl4w. But if both have to do the same route, there's no chance for Nightcl4w catching up. Because both are so strong runners, there's not much time they can do with just execution. But here we go. One more chest to go. Yeah, we are opening all chests all the way through.
Always lovely when you're in go mode, but Turtle Rock says, I have other plans for you.
Yeah.
Just do all the work. Stay busy.
There's no chance to you. Skipping stuff. Unless you're playing for the safety door.
That was a really good cane dash. Now we'll get to see what strats we see Tankir take into this fight. Maybe go behind Trinex for the quick kill. Yeah, that's perfect. That's going to be zero cycle.
So, right now, I want to explain a little game because we are almost about to get to go.
I'll leave that to you.
So, when Ralen Tankir is picking up the last twisted, we're playing the big key guessing game. For 1 to 22, everything is possible. And we're counting on probably Ralen Tankir because he's the first one in GT. So, get your numbers. We stop right when we're in GT. So, what's your number?
You know what? I'm just going to say it's on random room upper left. Why not? No special reason.
So what's the number then? When the room upper left.
I don't do numbers, I'd be specific.
Yeah, I'm specific too, but I know that my specific point is always the 22, so yeah, team tile room.
Alright, there we go. So, Tankir going to be hitting the GT entrance at about 1:16:15. No, up the stairs faster than I estimated. 1:16:13. And going for the DM's room first.
Rest in peace,
Taking
Bob.
the 10 arrows.
Ralen killed Bob. But there's a chance that we will see Bob on Nightcl4w's side.
So the whole concept of Bob and why that is called Bob's Torch is there's an anti-fairy in one of the rooms in the path leading to the Ice Armos Knights fight, and it gets a little glitchy depending on how you interact with the torch.
Yeah.
And thus, the community long ago affectionately named it Bob.
Yeah, and at the beginning it was just a bug. And then, no, we want, when they said they can fix it, community said, no, please, no, do not kill Bob.
There you have it. So we've seen 7 checks in GT so far. No big key in sight yet. Nightcl4w having a somewhat slower Trinex fight, but still, overall, burning fast.
Yeah, and if the big key is on the left side, like window room, And Nightcl4w is choosing. Oh no. Silvers can be difficult. So it's a tough call. Which way is the right one?
Yeah. So if Nightcl4w manages to avoid right side for some reason, that could potentially buy back a little bit of time. But now it's going to be iffy because with those silvers and still being behind, it's probably not going to be enough. But you never know.
Yeah.
It really comes down to how round Tankir plays it at this point.
Yeah,
The ball
but
is very much in his court.
But if Nightcl4w is going for the Bob chest rush right after the right side, and there it is, instead of going Window Room, then it can be close, but it's really unlikely.
That is a rare play to see done, but I concede it's possible. It really depends. Sometimes you'll see someone do that if they feel really behind and like they need to swing for the fences. So meanwhile, we're up to 13 checks here, and still no big key. And Nightcl4w is keeping to the same route so far. And there we go, number 14, GT Big Key. I had the right room, but like the wrongest chest.
Yeah. But still, GG's to 14. But at this point, I can't see Ralen Tankir lose this race.
It does seem unlikely. He has just been on point with his play the whole time.
I mean, if he's really unlucky, let's say Moldom is trolling him at his best. Even then, Ralen Tankir should be in an advantage position.
Indeed, a Moldorm fall is costly, but this is a pretty firm advantage right now. We're in the range of multiple minutes, and Moldorm would have to be playing like a pro for multiple minutes worth, so I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, bouncing him off more than twice is unlikely.
Moldorm giving you trouble in GT? Have you ever considered asking it to stop?
I already did it, and no, it doesn't
So
work.
interestingly enough, Nightcl4w is actually going for this strat that you proposed. So that's going to unfortunately lose even more time here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The,
Could have been good, but not today.
The most unfortunate timing for it.
And here we go, Moldom 2 almost on the way, but Lamulas 2 says no cycle 1. But here we go, here's Bob on Nightcl4w side. And he's smiling, so happy.
And Ralen Tankir just continuing to basically just give up no time, just having good room after good room. This has been very thrilling to watch. That fire rod dash, that was so good.
Yeah, he's showing why he's here today.
Alright, moment of truth. How nice is Moldorm gonna be today? Seems fine.
Yeah, ultra friendly.
Alright, we are moving into the Ganon 2 fight. Let's see how these patterns are. That looked like a double.
Yeah. Oh, is this playing with you? Just a double. The fireballs were too close together. Evil blue ball.
That was just straight up a cheap shot from those blue ball.
But here we go.
With Aga 2 down, we'll be heading into the Ganon fight. So with Gold Sword, the first two phases are going to be completely trivial. Just 6 hits each. Round Tankir, having taken a couple hits, chooses to drink the potion to play it safe. Understandable. Smart call. And the right call, having taken a couple more hits there.
Yeah, could have used cape instead. But it's fine. He's using silvers anyway, so why not drinking all your stuff? And no, oh no, you've got silvers. How dare you? And
alright, so that proved an advantageous miss of the torch glitch. Was able to set up an extra double. With that, Ganon is down. Ralen Tankir is going to take this match. So get your GGs in chat.
Yep, GG's for Ralen Tankir.
Finishing with an official time of 1:25:34 according to the race time room. Just very well played the whole time. That was really impressive to watch.
And here he is. GG's Ralen.
GG.
And it does appear that Nightcl4w has chosen to forfeit and concede the race. Once again, very well played, GG's. How did you feel about that overall?
Well, it was a seed. Definitely it was a seed that was kind of working in my favor. I was hoping for something more convoluted against Nightcl4w to use my execution advantage if I can have it, because I had a slight handicap going into this race. Maybe you can hear it, but I have a slight cold, so yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. I do hope you get well soon.
It's nothing too serious, but yeah, the small things today, they weren't really working out. I chose to do some safer strats in some places because of that, especially early on puzzle keyguard. Just throw the pot, don't go for the 8 slashes. That's just a little bit safer, not too much of a time loss. So yeah, but a lot of the small things, I really felt it throughout the seed. They weren't really working as much as I wanted, but it got better over time, I think. Yeah. it definitely helped that the item locations were in a way that my routing decisions fit them almost perfectly. I guess you could have gotten the Marauder of Thieves Town the first time you were in there, given that all 4 items were in the back, but yeah. It might have led me to skip the flute in Hera Basement. There's definitely a chance that you can skip Ice Rod if you find Hammer first. Yeah. Avoiding pot until go mode definitely helps.
Yeah, avoiding pod that whole time, especially with the key being in the front, that did a lot of good for you.
And by the way, Nightcl4w is here. GG's.
GG.
Hello, GG.
GG.
So Nightcl4w, how would you say you felt about this overall?
I don't know. I felt not too bad, I guess. The only really bad thing in my head was the early pot dip.
Yeah, that was...
I think that's pretty much more or less the time by which I lost. Maybe a little bit less, but that's... I at least I like to think that's the time by which I lost. No, other than that, I think it went okay today. I didn't make too many bad mistakes in terms of execution. There were maybe some routing decisions that a few persons might think were a bit questionable, but yeah, I don't know. I know I'm the weaker player against Ralen. I knew I had to do some maybe not so conventional routing. Didn't work out, unfortunately, but yeah, it was fine. At least it was better than yesterday.
But when you say less conventional routing, for example, was that part of what led to your decision to delay Kakariko slightly?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, I don't even know what I was hoping for at this point, because we had a bottle. Maybe it was just for the flute, maybe I was just hoping to get to skip Kakariko for a little bit longer. Maybe finding a bow immediately, or a glove or whatever to go to the mountain.
Well, it definitely made the beginning of the race more interesting to watch, so that was cool.
Yeah. One thing, I mean, in the end, with it being an Agassi, it didn't really do anything for me, probably, but I was kind of hoping for that hookshot when I found it, that maybe Ralen might skip Asrod Cave for a little bit, but yeah, since it was basically a full light world clear before Aga, except for the mountain.
That
There
wouldn't
was no
have happened.
chance he would have missed it. Yeah, and also, of course, we both know he's the stronger player in terms of execution, so yeah, there was probably, in general, not a huge chance that he would skip something like this, especially with the boots.
Yeah, there were some spots where I most likely could have skipped stuff depending on decisions, but when you get more than 500 rupees and you have the boots, you can almost bank on me doing the water walk, so skipping the hook shots wasn't ever happen in the seed. Or even if it wasn't in light world full clear, I would have gotten that hook shot. I actually, even though I got the bow and could have done Eastern, I decided to do light the South Shore, including water walk first, simply because we had the money, and maybe slightly because I knew that I was the stronger player, and yeah, so doing water walk was probably a risk that I could afford to take.
Yeah.
It kind of gave me slight hope that with the lamp being on Zora, that the glove would unlock this, and that this maybe would be not an Aga seed, but yeah, when I saw the flippers in Eastern, I knew, well, okay, go to Aga.
Yeah, no, I got the lamp only after clearing Eastern. I was Yeah, since I was in South Shore at the very start, I didn't have the money for Sora yet, so this was also something I had to route in after doing Eastern.
True.
But yeah, overall, I think it was fine. It's not something I'm sad about losing here in this matchup.
Yeah, having had the benefit of being able to watch both of you the whole time, it was for the most part, a very close race. The main things were just you having to make the extra trip over to the Zora area, the double dip of Palace of Darkness, and then additionally, you chose to full clear Desert first when both of the
Yeah.
items for Go mode were in Mire. That couldn't be
Yeah.
helped. So, all those factors considered, it was just very tightly played by both of you and very exciting to watch.
Well, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, so thank you both for putting on such a great race. Now I'll ask my co-commentator if do you have any questions that have come to mind for you?
No, all my questions that came in mind were answered right now. But I can say Follow Both Runners, really nice players. Even if your native English both can speak it with you, it's no problem for them. And the same goes on you. Big props as well as on our tracker Darok today.
So many Germans involved in this one.
Yeah, incredible.
Well, in that case, do either of you have any final thoughts you'd like to add about this?
Well, just the usual stuff. Thanks to all the staff for setting up the restream. Thanks for all the viewers, of course. And yeah, have a nice day, evening, whatever time zone you are in.
Pretty much echoing what Nightcl4w said. Thanks for commentating, restreaming. I will be sitting back now, get a bit of rest, and maybe watch one or two more races of today. There are a few upcoming in about 20 minutes, especially two matches that, if you want to watch more rando, you definitely can. So check into the other SpeedGaming channels, especially SpeedGaming and SpeedGaming 2, where the two following races will happen next. But yeah, that's probably what I will do for the rest of the day, not doing much else.
Yeah, that's very good. In fact, to be a little more specific, coming up in about 25 minutes, we have in Group S, Dr. Earworm versus Illis. That's going to be on Speed Gaming 2, according to the schedule. And in the same amount of time, we have Shinmaru versus 2C, also on Speed Gaming Main. We also have additional matches available throughout the day coming up. You'll be able to check out, post the schedule link in chat in just a moment. And if you view that, you'll be able to see the full schedule along with the associated channels.